his duty, he stood and watched as the livelihood of Merthuari's people floated away on the breast of the wide white Sarathai, blazing atop the reflections of their own flames. If his cheeks were damp, and it was not with sweat, there was no one present now to question him. Until there was. A step scraped the stones behind him. He was not startled. The battlements were well manned, and he had not thought himself entirely alone. He fastened the end of his veil across his face with a practiced gesture before he turned. His right hand did not leave the gun until he saw who came toward him. A woman. The skin of her muscled arms silk dark against the white of her sleeveless tunic, hurrying. Her tight, steel-coloured curls gave a lie to her unlined face, and bangles on her wrists chimed merrily, although her expression was stern. The Azin wizard, Atta Arkima. She paused to stare over the dead man's shoulder, suddenly, as if distracted from whatever it was that she had come so urgently to say. She shook her head. Who wages war in the rainy season? It does seem an unfathomable choice. Maybe cholera will thin their ranks for us. She sounded as if the prospect pleased her. The dead man couldn't fault the sentiment. He cleared his throat. Were you seeking me? The wizard gestured toward the distance. Was that what you were looking at? He knew without turning what she meant, but he turned anyway, rather than stand with his back to it. The gates in the city's outer walls, a catapult's throw and a bit more away from the walls of the palace, still stood open. Farmers and fishers and tradespeople from the surrounding countryside poured into Sarathai Tir, those who had not chosen to take to their boats or take their chances on the open road rather than in the squalor and starvation of a besieged city. Beyond the bustle of boats and wagons, beyond the rivers of humanity and the river of pale water, beyond the flames consuming one stilt-legged hut after another, beyond the first jeering vanguards of the enemy, the main bulk of the advancing army had not yet come into view over the horizon. What was plainly visible was a long black smudge against the sky, in the wrong direction to be the edge of the veil sliding across the brilliant light. It looked like smoke, but smoke never moved with such volition, such sinister coordination, the flocking of many minds into a single consensus. Tendrils sought out from the dark mass, seethed and lifted, collapsed back. The body roiled and dappled, showing glimpses of sky beyond. Carrion birds tracked the advancing forces, heralding the army as thunder heralds the storm. At that moment, a shrill sound rent the air. A woman's scream, meant to carry. Not in the city or beyond the walls, as might be expected, but in the extensive rain-soaked palace garden below and behind Atta Arkima. The dead man eyeballed the wizard. The wizard sighed. I guess we had better go see what's fucked up this time. They ran, side by side, wet soles slapping. Other defenders of the palace might be closer, it was true, but other defenders of the palace might not be as equipped to deal with the sorts of oddities that seemed to be making a more and more frequent appearance at Merthuari Rajni's court in these strange days. There came no second cry. Their pelting steps carried them into the garden grounds, out of breath and slipping in the mud. The dead man's veil sucked annoyingly against his mouth with each gasp for breath, the fabric slack and moist in the humid atmosphere. As he had expected, they were not the only searchers in the garden. Men and women carrying torches and lanterns fanned out along the gravel trails. Atta Arkima glanced about the bobbing pools of light, sighed, and outstretched one hand, pale palm upright. A column of yellow-white light flared upward, hissing and shedding sparks too bright to look at directly. It rose to the treetops and flowered, spreading brilliant chrysanthemum petals in every direction. It wasn't a witch lamp, such as the dead man had seen Rasen wizards hang, but more like a captive lightning bolt, and it sounded angry as a trapped cat. Conveniently, at that moment, the cry came again. This time the dead man recognized the voice.